In 1968, Pelé was sent off in a friendly match in Colombia, but the crowd was so angry, the referee didn't finish the game. Instead, the referee was sent off and Pelé came back. Today's story is one of those tales that the moment you hear it, you feel it is closer to fantasy than reality. Yet it truly happened. It was documented on the official website of Santos FC, and Pele himself spoke about it in one of his tweets before his passing. For that reason, the time has come to tell this story and pause at one of the strangest events ever in the history of football. On July 17, 1968, at El Campín Stadium in Bogotá, Colombia, the Brazilian club Santos faced the Colombian Olympic national team. Santos was well known for its worldwide tours, using the presence of Pelé as a massive marketing and promotional tool, which became a huge source of income for the club. On the other hand, the Colombian Olympic team was preparing to participate in the Mexico Olympics. Around 60,000 spectators attended the match, all of them coming for one reason only: to see Pelé. None of them knew that they were about to witness one of the strangest football incidents in history during what was supposed to be a friendly match. The match kicked off, everything looked perfect, and the crowd was enjoying itself. After just 4 minutes, Santos scored the opening goal, and in the 9th minute, Colombia equalized. Pure entertainment, beautiful football, quick goals, but suddenly, tension began to surface. Despite the fact that it was a friendly match between two teams that were not technically equal, Antonio Lima, one of the closest people to Pelé throughout his career, became extremely agitated after Colombia's equalizer. He protested to the referee, claiming the goal was offside. The referee rejected the complaint, and Lima began shouting and swearing, even attempting to attack the referee for the first time. At that moment, the referee decided to send him off and told him, "Get out." He did not show a red card because at that time, red cards had not yet been fully adopted in football. The referee, Guillermo Velázquez, sent Lima off, but the player did not accept the decision. He returned and attacked the referee again. It then became clear that the referee was a former boxer, and the situation escalated into a physical confrontation, with both men exchanging punches. It was an extremely strange scene, especially considering that the referee was one of Colombia's prominent officials and had gone on to officiate major tournaments such as the Copa Libertadores. Eventually, security intervened, Lima was escorted off the field, and the match resumed, but the tension remained. The exchange of goals continued. Santos took the lead 2-1, and Colombia equalized again at 2-2. In the 42nd minute, Pelé attempted to dribble past a Colombian defender, specifically Luis Soto, who brought him down. Pelé appealed for a penalty, but the referee signaled to continue play. At that point, everything exploded. The accumulated tension and Pelé's anger at the referee's decisions caused him to lose his temper, and he began insulting the referee in Brazilian Portuguese. The problem was that the referee did not speak Portuguese fluently, but he knew insults very well, having attended refereeing courses near the Brazilian border. He immediately understood the insults and realized that Pelé was cursing him personally and even insulting his mother. As a result, he decided to send Pelé off as well. When the crowd saw the referee signal Pelé's dismissal, they were stunned. Everyone had come to see Pelé, not Santos and not the Colombian team. Silence fell over the stadium. Pelé left the pitch, not fully understanding what had happened, and it is said that he told nearby journalists that the referee was a madman. The Santos players could not believe what had happened. Their anger exploded, and 3 or 4 of them initially attacked the referee. The situation then escalated into a mass brawl. The referee tried to defend himself, hitting and being hit, while the coaching staff also intervened, turning the scene into complete chaos. The referee later said, "I was facing 25 people," adding that the Santos delegation consisted of 28 individuals, and only 3 of them did not hit him: the team doctor, the team journalist, and Pelé himself. Meanwhile, the Colombian players stood by, watching in shock and refusing to intervene, considering the issue to be between the referee and Santos. The crowd became increasingly agitated, and the police tried to regain control, but every time they restrained one person, another broke free to attack the referee again. Eventually, they managed to remove him from the field. Everyone thought the story had ended, but the surprise was that the referee insisted on returning to finish the match. At that moment, the crowd erupted completely, chanting Pele's name and demanding his return. The Colombian Football Federation found itself in an extremely dangerous situation. A match had descended into chaos. The referee had been assaulted and Pelé had been sent off. They decided to take a solution that would satisfy the crowd: dismiss the referee instead of Pelé. They went to speak to the referee and asked him to leave the pitch, but he strongly refused, insisting that he would not back down from his decision. Security intervened again and informed him that his life would be in danger if he returned, as the crowd had begun attempting to storm the pitch. When he continued to refuse, the Colombian Federation officially dismissed him and appointed the assistant referee as the main referee. Because there was no fourth official in friendly matches at that time, fortune intervened. A Chilean referee was present in the stands as a spectator. He came down and completed the match as an assistant referee. As the dismissed referee left the field, the crowd insulted him heavily, describing him as the man who had ruined the match. He later said that he left broken both psychologically and physically, having been beaten by Santos players and betrayed by his own federation. Pelé returned to the pitch as the first decision made by the new referee, and the crowd erupted in joy. No one cared about the second half result, despite Santos winning 4-2 and Pelé scoring a goal, because what mattered to them was seeing the king play until the end. When the referee was later asked how he felt about sending Pelé off only to be sent off himself, he replied, "This only happens in Colombia, considering that the federation had followed a cheap policy to appease the crowd." After leaving the stadium, one of the judges who had attended the match advised him to file an official complaint immediately because the Santos players would leave the country and he would never be able to pursue them later. Indeed, the referee went to a nearby police station, injured and swollen, and filed a complaint against the Santos players for assault and verbal abuse while he was performing his duties. After the match ended, while everyone was celebrating, the Santos players were surprised by security officers asking them to come to the police station. There, they faced several charges and were lined up against the wall like criminals, while the referee pointed out those who had assaulted him. It was an embarrassing and painful situation for the Santos players. When Pelé arrived, he shook the referee's hand and apologized. The referee replied, "My problem is not with you. You are the only one who did not hit me." The detention lasted until 3 in the morning, and a quick solution was necessary to prevent the issue from turning into a diplomatic crisis. Colombian officials intervened, and an agreement was reached: a written official apology, a pledge to respect the country's laws, and financial compensation from Santos equivalent to 6 months' salary, which amounted to 18,000 Colombian pesos at the time. The referee later said that he could have ended the story easily, but he refused to allow his dignity to be trampled. This was the same thing he told Pelé when they spoke at the police station. The Santos players left the next day and continued their world tour, but the story did not end for the referee. He continued to feel bitterness and stated in interviews 20 and 30 years later that his country and its people had let him down. The Colombian press focused the next day on how the match had turned into a boxing match and on the federation's submission to the crowd. The Brazilian press focused on the detention of the Santos players, but above all highlighted the insane impact of Pelé's popularity, which made even the laws themselves change. After many years had passed since that incident, and upon reaching the year 2018, exactly 50 years later, Pelé brought the story back to public memory when he published a famous tweet in which he wrote, "I once got sent off in a game against Colombia. The decision was so unpopular with the crowd that the referee then sent himself off." It was as if Pelé was once again reminding the world that his popularity and influence were greater than those of any influencer of this era, and even greater than the impact of any footballer the game has ever known. At that time, fans did not go to stadiums to take selfies behind the stands. They went to genuinely support their teams and watch matches with real passion and sincerity. They were not tourists. They were true lovers of football. Many years later, Colombian television produced a documentary about that match. During it, they interviewed one of the spectators who had been present in the stadium, a young man who later became a journalist who said, "I've never seen a football stadium shake with anger the way it did when Pelé was sent off." In that moment, Pelé proved that he was not just a player, but a living legend. In people's minds, he truly embodied the game itself. For this reason, the story of Pelé's dismissal, which ultimately ended with the referee himself being dismissed, remains one of the strangest stories in football history. It is a story of great magnitude in every sense, as it involved a club of Santos' stature, a Colombian national team, and an official Colombian Football Federation. It is so extraordinary that the crowd was watching its own national team play, yet that mattered less than seeing a single player on the pitch. It was not about Colombia or any other team. Pelé stood above all standards of loyalty and classification. For this reason, many believe that Pelé was a fundamental part of the immense popularity that football reached. So much so that when Atari considered producing the first football video game in the 1980s, they asked themselves who should be on the cover. They did not choose an active player at the time. Instead, they chose Pelé. His name always works. His image remains influential even after his death, and if it were placed in any advertisement, it would succeed without fail. From an early stage, Pelé had his own special rules. Just as one day a referee was sent off the pitch, even though Pelé himself was the one who deserved to be sent off according to the laws of the game, following the offensive insults he directed, insults that Pelé himself never denied.